Welcome back. Here we are, another Friday. What is today's date? I forget, guys. Well, we're here with Art. Here with Kevin.
18th,
It's the
April
18th
18th. Yep.
of April. I'm back at the Northern Command post. In transition, so I don't have a cool background, but I'll get it set up next week. Oh, Good Friday. Happy Good Friday.
Yes.
It'll be interesting. Easter Sunday. Get your eggs. Your $2 eggs.
Yeah. My wife is going out for a dozen eggs actually later, so we still color eggs as seniors.
Oh, good. Do you use crayons and stuff, or
I use whatever I can. I'm pretty creative.
ain't that the truth? Oh boy. So let's see. We're heading to the tail end of April already. Wow.
Yeah, thank goodness, right?
Yeah, thank goodness is right. Let's see. Anything good happening this week? Art, what do you got?
Good this week. Let's see what sticks out.
Any scanning? I see a lot of scanning still going on. Promotions and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff on LinkedIn this week about scanning.
Yeah.
Caton launched a portal for their dealers.
Right.
Called Catalyst.
Hey, did we talk? We talked about Konica Minolta last week, didn't we? With the dealer agreement. Did we talk about that?
No, we didn't, but I saw a couple threads about it.
Yeah, let me talk about it.
They're trying to, from what I understand, they're trying to acquire more dealers.
Well, that's one of the things.
Is that right? Yeah,
that's one of the things. Yeah, but the actual they have a whole new dealer contract, and
okay,
it's got a 90-day out on either side, and I guess some people found that to be interesting.
Oh, 90-day out for the manufacturer.
Either side,
so
dealer or man. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So if in 90 days, if you're not moving enough product, they're going to cut you off.
Wow.
Yep.
So, and
without cause.
So this is for the renewal for existing dealers.
It's a whole new contract, so I'm sure there's some sort of
So all existing dealers would fall under this contract.
Yeah. And gotta give credit. I picked it up from Ray. I just saw what Ray was talking about. Just looked at it, and then have one of my people put a little article together. It's up to 20,000 views already. I think it's been out there for maybe just a few days.
Really?
Yeah. So it's got someone's attention. Very interesting.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, it is interesting. I wouldn't tend to think that they. Yeah, I don't know if the only reason they put it in is because of the out.
Yeah, that's again, this is kind of on the fringe of what I'm knowledgeable about. But another little turn that happened was I don't know how big this is or isn't. Sounds big to me. They used to have some limits on service territories where you couldn't service a machine that was outside of a certain defined territory. I guess that has been wiped away.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever. But for years and years, I mean, you could basically sell a machine wherever you wanted, and the manufacturers wouldn't do anything.
And I would imagine not but it was a service clause. I don't know that much.
Service clause, okay.
Yeah, I don't. Again, so if someone called you to do service and it was out of your service territory according to the contract, you couldn't do it.
Wow. Well, so did that come into play just because of the megas?
Because of the what?
The mega dealers.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that would. And
right, since it's covering such a large geo area now.
Well, that's right. Yeah. And
so they could have been limited, and other dealers were complaining because of their contracts said that there was a service geo limitation, and the megas were not honoring that.
Could have been that, or
and if that
now I'm starting to remember. Yeah, if you had an out of territory install, you had to find a dealer that could service it
That's
in the
correct.
territory, and that could, and it was with Konica Minolta. This is years ago. I did that. Yeah, across the country.
Yeah,
All
all
right.
the manufacturers still do that. But
Yeah.
I think it might have been first thought it would have been to allow the megas to service their machines in other dealers' territories
Absolutely.
without getting their dealership taken away or their hand slapped, and now they don't have to deal with smaller dealers that would say, "Hey, you're not abiding to our dealer contract."
Right. Right. Yeah. So I was just surprised at the amount of attention it got. So I guess it is an issue. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, and then that's the big thing that I remembered this week so far with the copiers. Um, but was it Caton? Who's bringing that new machine in? Is it Caton?
New
Their own
machine?
machine? Yeah, don't they have their own machine or something like that?
Yeah, Caton has their own machines. The uh, uh, I
Yeah,
always pronounce it wrong. Ariva, I believe
Hyundai,
it's
Hyundai.
pronounced.
Yeah, I think there was something in flashed by. They have a service center open or something, but they're starting to come to the market with the service guys now.
Oh
Which
yeah,
is,
they actually partnered with MyQ this week.
oh, I did. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
So that and they're getting service. So we'll see. That's all I can remember on the hardware front. Um, hmm,
yeah. I'm trying
AI.
to just scan through anything else if there's anything else.
Well, while you're scanning, I think about how's business going. You feel like, I mean, it's chaotic everywhere else or everywhere, right? Because of the tariffs and what else is going on and whatever the heck anyone else wants to talk
You
about.
mentioned the T word. I was going to hold off, but
Well,
tariffs, right?
I'll bring it.
Yeah.
It certainly
Yeah,
is an issue, isn't
yeah.
it?
From April's down for me.
Oh,
Um, I believe it's more because I finished Q1 strong,
yeah.
Nice.
and I emptied a lot of stuff into Q1 to finish strong. So it's typical for me that happens where that first month is going to be off. But again, I've got the entire quarter to build. How about you, Kevin? How's business been for April?
Uh, Pretty steady, actually. You know, it is the time of year where companies go through a lot of change because it's the beginning of their fiscal year, is the beginning of April. So there's a lot of changes and whatnot, but nothing significant. I mean, the need for scanning is, we've found kind of a new way to utilize, data from scanned documents. So like our whole industry is getting rejuvenated. I feel like I'm like in the twilight zone because I've been in the document imaging, content management, enterprise content management industry for a long time. We scan to archive or scan to a workflow, but now we're producing data for AI. So I live out here in Silicon Valley, and all these like AI developer systems are looking for data, and guess what? They're in documents. So it's like live right in the middle of this, like these colliding worlds of this industry that's dying for the data, and then we have the data, but we're kind of old fashioned. We feel old fashioned, even though we're
Hmm.
really not. So it's interesting that to see the market come to us is that's the exciting time, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
there's a lot
Wow.
of I was at the AIM show. The AIM is for the Association for Intelligent Information Management.
Yep.
Right.
It's a 80-year-old organization, and it's for records managers and information managers. I was at that Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and it's 80-year-old organization. I'm not 80 years old, but I have been participating for a long, long time. Uh, and I've seen the evolution of this, like, 20 years ago, and Hari's been to many of them too. 20, 25 years ago, these were big, giant conferences, and they were with like it was scanning and printing and imaging, everything all together at Jacobs, Javits, and McCormick, and they were big, big things where tens of thousands of people went.
Yep.
But over the years, imaging became very nichey and scanning became very nichey.
Yeah.
And then it just worked. It just did. And, it had a case, but there wasn't anything exciting going on. And now I see excitement around it again, using the data for the workflows, but you're also scanning and taking that metadata and put it in a LLM database to do things like analytics and create AI systems from it. So that's a long-winded answer, Art, to say the business is pretty consistent, and especially the future looks very bright, because these things are, there is no magic formula to this. This is so new that nobody at AIM put their hand and said, we're completely digital and we have all the answers. And these are the people that are probably the most qualified, because they are data custodians, right? They are experts at writing policy and compliance and governance, and they're trusted. You have to get certified to actually, be able to collect the information and organize and apply security around it, physical and regulation security around it. But so those kind of peoples in our kind of industry really has a new life. It was exciting to see everybody's interested. And but it was still a lot of theoretical and using buzzwords, terms, AI and stuff, but they want to do tangible projects. So I see, quickly people want to move very, very fast with AI. You cannot sit on your hands and just wait for the market to develop. You've got to be doing something, right? You can't sit around doing nothing. So this sense of urgency and fear of missing out and not being able to, surface insights in your data, those are all things that there will be use cases coming. And if you hadn't done anything, shame on you, right? Shame on you as a business, shame on you as a professional,
Right.
shame on you as a person if you didn't learn how to, go to OpenAI and just mess around with the LLM, right? Like I ask it a question, it gets it wrong, and I tell it, no, this was right. And I'm training the LLM on my own. I'm not a programmer, right? People can do this. So I encourage everybody, do something, so I'm on my soapbox here, but it's a public service announcement to get involved, do something, participate, do something. There's a lot of free tools. There's a lot of resources like Art and Greg and Hari that want to help. So there's vendors want to help, and there's industries that want to help. There's and we're trying to figure it out together. Like I said, the AIM crowd was very honest, right? It's so new, right? That how do we monetize, and how do we get all the data, and then how do we compare the data, and then how do we clean the data, and then what if bad data was introduced and pollutes my data set, right? So there are a lot of things to figure out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I can't wait to get my hands on that Rico MFP with the PFU scanner on top of it. I've seen some videos. I've went through the product manual, which product manual really doesn't go that deep into it. But I'm sure once I get in front of the device and the GUI, I'm sure I may be able to figure things out that are really, really cool.
Well, hey, Kevin, so I don't know if you can do this or not, but you were just at AIM talking big strategy, I'm guessing, right? And you're right. We're making it all up as we go. And that's, by the way, the urgency and everything you just described could go from AIM to the plumbers, fire truck manufacturers, farmers, healthcare. Everyone's in the same book, in the same tracks. Like, we got to do something now. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it's going to look like, but we have to do something. Except for the niche that I seen kind of settling are the Fortune 100s and maybe even the Fortune 500s. The people who can afford to create their own AI engine, right? They might be partnering with OpenAI or someone, but they have their own proprietary, as much as it can be, closed AI systems. Not too many SMBs can handle that right now, and for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, I was just on a call today with, what did they do? They do the FDA trials, I think is what it's called, right? When you're trying to get a product FDA approved. So it's a commercial business. It's not a government, but that's what they do. They help run the trials and do all, and they've been applying AI since 2001. 2021. So in AI world, that's a long time. Very interesting.
Exactly. And clinical trials is a big deal, right? Yeah. And, Hari's got a customer actually using his network scanners to scan for trials. And the thing is, these trials, they're like, when COVID was coming along, these were like honeypots so they had to be highly secure. So they needed to be private data centers, right? That at that time, or private infrastructures at least. right? So the data is very sensitive. It's very confidential. It's got personal information all over the place about this stuff. So it takes the need to collect a lot of data from a lot of different sources to organize it, understand it. So it's a perfect application for AI, but it's a perfect application for security, for access control, for distributed capture. So all the characteristics of cloud and security and AI is like trials is a perfect use case.
Hey,
He-
that's actually pretty interesting. I saw something with, I'm a user of a Snagit, and Snagit just basically introduced some AI into their program, which will, instead of manually doing a redact, the AI will do the redact all at one time. So you don't have to go and individually, okay, redact this line, redact that line. It will automatically do all of the redactions based on the rules. So is that something that a developer could do with TWAIN Direct?
So TWAIN Direct is a communication protocol. So we don't do the redaction. We'd have to use a third party to do the OCR. You've got to do that first to know, like, redact any personal names, right? So you got to do the OCR process. So TWAIN Direct to capture the image, but then OCR to do the text. And then once you recognize the text, then you apply redaction to that text. So
that's a good use case though, because the AI would be able to.
It is.
Yeah.
But to your point, that used to be very expensive, very complicated stuff to do. Not too long ago, I'm telling you, like just 2 years ago, that was a very high paid feature that people would pay a lot of money for redaction. But now it's in Snagit. Now it's in the snipping tool I use snipping tool on Windows, and it's got the same thing. It's got OCR in there and redaction in there. I'm like, my God, just a couple years ago, I was charging tens of thousands of dollars for IDP software that did that. So the recognition in IDP is creeping into like consumer applications so quickly. It's amazing. You don't have to, not too long ago, we couldn't even process unstructured documents. And by an unstructured document, like a doctor's notes, but now you upload it to a free OpenAI. I mean, again, that's a public thing, so you want a private version, but it could read that document, give you a summary for free. It's amazing, right? So
that's what's happening. These applications, quote unquote. I mean, it's just that used to be expensive and we're highly specialized, like redaction, ever, are totally blown away now. That's what's really happening. And I think we've even talked about it, right? Everything from redaction to CRMs. You don't need them. It's going to happen. I talked about the other day. Your AI is going to have its own word processing and email system. And then what did OpenAI announce? They're going to create their own social network like X, which is I mean, how many users do they have right now? OpenAI. I mean, it's huge worldwide.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is embed it into the LLM. Holy crap. I mean, in 24 hours, they'll have more users on their social network than anyone else. Just because of and it'll be good.
And they'll have more data than anybody else.
Yeah, and that's the whole trick. And what do you say? OpenAI just opens it. Well, our LLM will do your email for you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you can just tell it to send email. It doesn't go to Gmail. It doesn't go to Office.
Yeah.
And it's already doing spreadsheet stuff.
Yeah.
Who did I talk to the other day? It was like, some poor guy says, hey, you can use AI to enhance your Excel formulas. I'm going, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No more pivot tables and learning that stuff, right?
I go, well, why wouldn't I just let AI do it? He didn't like that.
It's amazing, AI is a thing, but if maybe I don't know if it was one of you guys told me, but maybe it's just a feature at the end of the day. Like HTML was an enabler is an interface so you can interface with web applications, right? It was HTML was a thing in the day. Maybe AI is just baked into so many things that it's doing AI for this, AI for this, and AI for this, and it's making these things easier so that you could focus on the core thing is bringing value to your customers or your clients or your life. So you don't focus on the core boring stuff that you still need. Like you need TWAIN Direct, you need HDMI, you need a road to drive on, you need these foundational things. Somebody's got to pay for those at the end of the day, but we all share the cost for the road, but with our tax dollars. We share the cost of, TWAIN Direct by the manufacturers paying membership to the TWAIN working group. So these are foundational things, but you can focus on, collecting the data, understanding the data, refining the data, cleaning the data. So it's an amazing time. People have great opportunity for their careers and their lives and enhancing their lives. So that's a very exciting thing.
Yeah,
Right.
it's nuts.
Hey, Kevin, is there such a feature as scanned ERP?
Yeah, there's, we scan images and they go into QuickBooks or SAP or NetSuite. Usually it's for receipts and invoices. Maybe Hari can talk to that more, but that's very basic workflows. If it's over $1,000, it goes to this person for approval. But I think accounting and ERP is a big deal.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
actually, there are products out there by OpenText and Kofax and others to scan to enterprise ERP systems. Yes.
Yeah, and it just, so is that an API driven connection? Is that am I using the right phrase, or is it?
Yeah, ERP systems do have their own APIs, and many of
Okay.
these solutions do scan and extract data, like Kevin was saying. The documents and the data can be fed into the ERP systems using their own APIs. Yes.
Are either of you guys familiar with I think it's similar to an API. It's relatively new. It's MCP.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
like last week.
Microsoft Core Foundation or something.
I thought it was from Google, but for some reason, and again, that's another thing. All these guys are mixing up all their product names and their acronyms. It's hard to tell who's who anymore.
Too many TLAs.
FYI, LOL.
Yeah, I wish I could learn it ASAP. It's analogous. It's a metaphor. It's similar to an API, but it's for AI database acquisition. Again, I heard about it, saw a couple shows on it. Not my wheelhouse, except for it sounded like a glue, something that if you adhere to, whatever that means, it can connect everything, right? Something. Okay, heard that before. But,
yeah, I'm reading it here.
Yeah,
MCP.
I'm too right. Yeah, it's for it's a communication protocol for AI models.
oh, okay, cool. Just wondered if you had heard of it. I ran a whole. I've had many conversations with my LLM lately.
We don't want to see it, right?
I haven't gotten to that point yet, having a conversation with my LLM.
I gotta tell you, well, it happens, and these hour-long. I mean, and I'm not the only one. If there's this new thing on TikTok, all right, now we're gonna go down it, but it's a bunch of people running TikToks of them talking to the LLM,
Wow.
right? And the LLM is talking back, and this week was a rash of this LLM, some new update from OpenAI, and for some stupid reason, I think it can see through the camera. And the lady's talking to this guy, and gave it the person and the personality, and these are off the cuff answers from the LLM. And the LLM made a comment about her turtleneck that she was wearing.
Wow.
And I'm going,
That's scary.
That can't be. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
And he's going off and off. I mean, the LLM, and they're having a banterous discussion. He's being sarcastic, and she's laughing. It's like, what are we watching right now?
Yeah.
Unscripted, conversational. And that was an innocent. And then another. Lots of people out there doing this. Like, wow. So, and another thing that's been getting a lot of attention is this AI therapist. The LLM is a therapist thing. Because you can imagine, right? If you built up your personal custom GPT to have all the knowledge of every therapist that there ever was, read every, I don't know, whatever, white paper, edition of Psychology Today, and you started talking with it and having sessions with it. By the way, it's learned. No, that's a new one. OpenAI, the memories increase. So it remembers what you said 3 weeks ago.
Oh, God.
I can't wait until something like this goes to frickin' court because an AI therapist told somebody that you should be doing this, that, or the other thing.
Well, the AI only responds to what you ask it. So there's, yeah, you're right. But no, I mean,
Hmm.
it's almost mind blowing, right? Because especially on the therapy side, we're not talking, well, maybe we are, I don't know, but most people who are in therapy,
That
they
was
need someone to talk to.
that was one of the heartwarming things. A long time ago. Well, it wasn't so long ago. CES. Well, it might have been 10 years ago or something. But yeah, it was before Condex, right? But I was there, and this was before the AI hype and stuff. But they had these a lot of these Japanese companies had these like little like dolls, and they were for senior citizens. And
Okay.
they were speech enabled so that the people that are kind of lonely in rest homes and stuff, you could talk to these. They were like support dolls.
Yep.
And I was using AI back then. It was using natural language, and they were trying to kind of solve that problem. So I can imagine, taking the technologies advanced so much more. Same concept. You got a therapist doll, and those kind of really important things. Like that's what we can now do, and
It's very significant, and you hit it right on that. And the older community, the aged community, and
mhm.
loneliness.
Yeah.
At first, everyone's machine's going to help you not be lonely. Just like same thing, right? It's a robot. It's not real, but humans are really good at what's that word we give inanimate objects human characteristics,
Yeah.
amorphosizing or something like that. So if we can talk to a pet, I know it's living, a dog, or pet rocks, remember that was a thing, and this thing talks back in your tone and understands you, and doesn't understand but remembers what you've done, and is able to match the patterns of your conversations with the patterns of millions of other conversations. I mean, what's the difference now? It's like,
It's happening. It learns emotions.
yeah.
You know,
A great example is empathy, right? The machines can never have empathy.
yeah.
Now, as a sales environment, right? We go for bond and rapport, empathy. We show empathy. That's how you identify with your prospect, through an empathetic move. I forward that we fake empathy to get the sale. We play empathy. So how is that any different than an LLM being empathetic?
Yeah. Yeah, they're telling the truth, and we're kind of faking it at times, I guess.
Hey,
That's not a put down.
Hey,
That's,
if Art's got to make his number, he's got to do what he's got to do, right?
I got to show you something real quick. I got to share my screen. There we go. Anybody
Sharp
remember
robots. Yeah, there you
it's
go.
a sharp.
Robohan?
Oh my God.
That's good.
Hey, I was thinking it's only a matter of time before generative AI takes over this show, man. It's gonna call it Ask Me Anything. No, I'm kidding.
Well, wait a minute. We could do that. We could all build our own avatars, and then wow.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Interesting posts on my site in reference to Xerox and Lexmark.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Xerox is trying to get a discount on the purchase. I don't know. I just read the headlines.
I didn't see that.
Like $95 million for some reason.
I saw something a week and a half ago about the price was coming down tremendously. And then Xerox had a press release the next day saying that was not the case.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So
Something changed?
don't know. But anyway, there was a person on. You ever been to this website? It's oh gee, come on, all right. Layoffs.com. Yeah. So it basically reads, it's about Lexmark and Xerox, and basically what we thought a couple months ago. This person is saying Xerox will disband the Lexmark brand. It will no longer exist. My advice is to start looking now and take your skills to a new business.
Wow. Art, you did a poll after the acquisition was
Yes.
announced, right?
Yeah.
Can you remember any kind of the summary of at least what the people that took your poll?
Summary was basically what this guy was saying is
Yeah.
the majority was Xerox is basically gonna cut,
Yeah.
get rid of Lexmark. Just take the good pieces and let the Lexmark brand die,
Yeah. Wow.
right? But it's also here, Xerox does not have any resources. Remaining employees have no skills, and cash is very low. Expect layoffs in each entity and accelerating for offshore. The XRX SLT on that believes in a virtual company. The less employees, the better. They're also reckless about who they let go, so don't think your special skills will keep you. And this is a person who's worked for Xerox for 25 years and feels that there's going to be layoffs, and most of those jobs are going to be outsourced to HCL.
Oh.
I just thought that was interesting. Somebody finally putting it out in the open, what our survey said.
Yeah. Well, it's not like it hasn't happened before.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's not like it won't happen again.
yeah, I mean, Xerox is far from out of the woods, for crying out loud. I mean, if you listen to them, they've made great improvements, but the stock's still around $5. No one's buying. The pool's not getting any larger of prints out there, and now you've got even more people in the market. It's like nuts. It's kooky. So,
Right.
all right. So they're going to take the tech, right? The manufacturing plants are all gone, aren't they? I thought they. Yeah.
They're all gone. They're all outsourced to Fuji. They don't manufacture. They may manufacture a couple of production machines. They may. I don't think they do, but they used to manufacture them, I believe, in Rochester, New York.
All right. You're talking Lexmark or Xerox?
No, I'm talking Xerox.
I was talking Lexmark. There's nothing left of Lexmark, is there? I don't know. Didn't they have plants outside of the U.S.?
Well, all their manufacturing is outside the U.S.
So they're gone.
Either in
What the heck
China.
what did Lexmark buy? I mean, Xerox buy then?
I
What'd they
think,
get?
well, some people say they bought their A3, their A3 MFPs, which they introduced just about a year ago.
So, but Lexmark makes A3s offshore
Correct.
somewhere.
Correct.
Are they Chinese?
I'm not entirely sure. I can tell you they're from the Far East. That's all I can tell you. But they also bought their MPS. They wanted their MPS, and their MPS has a lot of what are the larger accounts? What do you call the larger accounts?
Enterprise?
Enterprise. Yes,
All right. Well,
they have a lot of enterprise business in the MPS.
so they can convert those accounts over to Xerox accounts. That's
Right.
fair enough.
I do think that since they really don't have a substantial relationship with Fuji anymore, they can basically buy what they need. Maybe this is the end game for them, at least in the SMB market, not the production. I think they'll keep Fuji production devices, right?
Hmm.
But I'm thinking they're gonna switch from Fuji to Lexmark. And their Lexmark machines are just going to be rebranded Xerox.
Yeah, I don't know how that Lexmark manufacturing thing worked. I don't know. I don't know
Right.
if they were
So-
contract plants or if they were. I don't know.
I don't know how they work either, but you look at Fuji now partnering with Marco in the United States
That's right.
for their machines. They just partnered with Sumner One in the United
Yep.
States, which is a pretty big dealer. And
Sure.
then you've got Caton taking up the SMB space with the Fuji A3 devices. So what is Xerox to do?
Yeah. What else can they do?
Now I got a question for Harry. You there, Harry? You still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Ricoh took that PFU scanner and put it on top of one of their flagship color machines.
Mhm.
Is there any other manufacturer that could do that? Copier manufacturer?
Don't think so. Not right off. I don't know of any right off the top of my head. Theoretically, the big ones can put their own scanners on top of their MFPs, but
Right, they couldn't do something like what PFU did with Ricoh. I just don't, I don't see.
I don't know. I don't know of any at the moment. Theoretically, it's possible.
Right, theoretically it's possible, but I don't see those type of, I mean, does Kodak have those types of units
Oh, yeah.
that could go on top of a copy machine? I know Epson doesn't. I know Brother doesn't. Is there anybody I'm missing in that space?
Kodak might, but Kodak does not have copiers, so someone else will have to pick a Kodak machine
Right,
on top of their copier and integrate the two together. And it's two different companies working together. It's not going to be easy.
right, right. So I see with this Ricoh product a long-term lockout feature if the sales reps can do the discovery right and get their clients sold on the PFU scanner on top.
This would be pretty unique. Yeah.
Cool. I appreciate that.
Sure.
What was the price delta for the new feeder? Did it go up?
Can't hear you, Greg.
Did you say the price for the feeder was, it went up maybe $5 a month at least or something like that?
On a lease,
Wasn't
I
that
think
much.
I think wholesale increase is $750 to $900. $900 on a 60-month lease is basically $18 a month,
Oh, okay.
or 50 cents, what, little more than 50 cents a day. I mean, for 50 cents a day,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
are you going to tell me you don't want it for 50 cents a day?
well,
Give
you
me
know,
two.
I've come from the single function document scanning world and not the copy machine so much. But one of the things that we used to always beat copy machines on was paper handling,
Mhm.
because on the copy machines it goes around drums and usually there's kind of like a curved path. And even with there's a lot of these production scanners that have that, but they have real specialized feeding mechanism. With this particular one, right? It's got a straight paper path, so it's good for mixed size documents and fragile documents and different paper weights, and it only stays under the glass for like just a few inches actually. The paper coming in, then the glass, and it's got cameras on both sides, so it's like the best paper handling you can get in the whole wide world. And PFU is recognized for good paper handling, good image quality. So you take those attributes in a good feeding mechanism, and then you add it to the other, copying, faxing, printing, that Ricoh's experts at, and it's like kind of best of both worlds. But that, I'm telling you, the feeding on that particular scanner is awesome. I mean, they sold a lot of those for that reason, right? Is that the feeding was so good, and that particular one had a flatbed too. I guess
Yeah.
yeah, so you could still open it up and put stuff on the glass if you had to. So
Yeah, I'm
maybe.
hoping that's still the case.
Mhm.
So, and if that is, I think the only thing an end user client would lose, a feature that they would use from an recirculating document feeder, or with the cameras on both sides, is that they could actually lift the document feeder up to scan a 3D image. So it actually, the document feeder would hinge backwards and lift up, and then you could put the book down.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I don't know if you can with this one or not.
well, I tell you, whenever I show anybody that feature, oh, I didn't know it could do that.
It's not so obvious, yeah.
Yeah, not so obvious, and nobody goes to the operator's manual. And I guess the average, even the average salesperson doesn't even know it can, how the, one of those features that hardly get used.
That tells you something. Hardly getting used. It's hardly needed.
Scan it just to see if there's Konica Minolta released their. Greg, did you see it? Blue Isis or something like that? Blue Iris IQ.
Yeah. I saw it. I looked through it. I forgot about it.
Basically says its IQ delivers tailored solutions designed to streamline data complexity and provide an automated approach to business operations.
Yeah, that's a $4,000 marketing phrase. Doesn't say anything.
It goes on to say AI-powered offerings have the strength and ability to uncover deeper insights and predictive value from enterprise content. While its scalable solutions are designed to grow alongside any organization's digital transformation journey.
I do remember it now.
What do you think of that, Kevin?
Yeah. Tell me, keep going back, Kevin. What did they just say?
That was about $12,000 worth of marketing buzz. Deeper insights into your content. Okay, that's cool, right? We agree. We want that, maybe. So
we wanted it 10 years ago.
Yeah,
said the same thing 10 years ago.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to do something. Don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen, right?
I do remember it now. Reading it, having the same reaction right now that you just. It's like,
I'm like, what?
It's like it's a whole bunch of nothing.
Well, give me, lay it out on some real world how a business is going to use it.
They don't know. They don't have those answers.
Right.
But they do have to say AI. So the marketing department got $100,000 to promote AI and Konica together. Okay, right. So we're going to put AI on every single brochure. What else? All our machines are going to use AI because no one really defines AI. Okay, perfect. And we're done.
Yeah, I think it's a problem in the industry just in general is that, the manufacturers sell to distribution, then distribution sells to the dealers or the resellers, and then the resellers and the dealers sell to the end users. So guess who knows the end user the best is the dealers and the resellers and the systems integrators. And the manufacturers rarely get to interface directly with the end users. So they're not hearing the true use cases. So they spit out a bunch of buzzwords and let the resellers, integrators, dealers like make the solution. So it's like this vicious cycle. So the manufacturers got to be able to understand the use case so they can build the technology. So it's going to be it's going to be a challenge forever doing that. But
I'll tell you what, I mean, that's the way it's been since the very beginning. The machines came out and these are what you sell. We don't know, nor do we care how it's used.
Right.
It would bubble up. Oh, libraries need book copy.
Okay. Yeah, occasionally the Japanese will do field marketing, but since COVID, I haven't seen much field marketing.
But you know what, guys? I always thought that machine manufacturers were just giving that away. With the cloud and centralized management, the print management companies, they get all the data now because they're managing a fleet of scanners and printers. So they could see how the companies are using it. I used a flatbed so many times, and this was overused here. They get some analytics from the scanning devices, whereas the device manufacturers don't have visibility to that, right? So even though it's going through their machines, the people that are managing those devices get visibility to the data. So the dealers have a very unfair advantage because of the kind of, we talked about MyQ earlier and other print management companies that have these, that manage the fleets on behalf of their end user customers, have the data on the usage already, right? So,
This has been the same since MPS hit,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, those DCAs at the time had so much data in there, you know. And at the time, remember the old DCAs would pick up everything, even the devices that you didn't have under contract. And that's a gold mine for a competitive, right? Yeah, I want all of them. And then what? The DCA started to whittle that down. Well, if it's not under the contract, you don't, all that bullshit. But the data's always been there. And even at the dealer level, I'm not gonna give a dealer a break on this. They never looked. It was one of those machines out there. We sold it. Let's go. Where's the next 8 devices going to come from?
You're
Where's
right.
the next 8 devices going to come
You're right. But it's just sitting there, right? It's ripe
always
for
been there.
monetizing that data somehow. And now if somebody can come in and just say, oh, you got that data? That's a gold mine to somebody. And another person,
Yeah.
they're just overlooking it.
It's interesting. But yeah, that's the way this goes back to your original. That's the way the system's set up.
Yeah.
Is the OEMs have a production schedule. We're going to make 8,000 devices in this quarter. So we got to sell 8,000 devices. We've got 100 dealers. Do the math. And that's it. Yeah. But, you know, AI is going to change that too. It's been, you know, that whole sales cycle has been changing for years. It's been shifting. The power's been shifting out of the sales person's hands into the.
Speaking about shifting, I'm going to shift us to one of my favorite topics.
Uh-oh.
Robots and humanoids.
Good, because I heard something. Go on. What do you got, Art?
Well, I just, got that I've been doing updates on my site on a daily basis.
Yeah.
What's new, what's different, just putting it into AI just to give me a quick brief. And I've started putting it out on LinkedIn with hashtags and just trying to see what type of responses I can get on the social end of it. So far, not much, but tell me about some of your stuff.
Well, another release that, I don't know, we talked about it a while ago about the robots that were they had quote unquote muscles on them.
Oh, the race.
Well, no, not that. I know that one's crazy too. But they have they have hands and grips and muscles that are hydraulic. They're water based, right? So instead of having a serve, because if you look at a hand that has fingers, you gotta have little motors in each knuckle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For our hands, that we work with tendons. So this company tried to duplicate that, and they use water and pressurize it, and that's how the thing moves. So, but when you look at this Android, because it's all full of water, it looks like a person because it's fleshy. And yeah, but it's spooky as hell. I gotta tell you guys, because what they do is they show it hanging on a meat hook, sitting there.
Oh, gee.
It's not a meat hook, but it looks like it, right? The thing's sitting there. There's no face, and its hands and legs are literally twitching. Right? That's experimental, but they're showing how, the hydraulics will let the hands rotate, grip, move, biceps, everything, but it's water. It's not, there aren't motors in there. I don't know how they do it with all that stuff, but
probably pressure, right?
Yeah, it's all pressurized, and it is water, and it's based on the tendon, so it's trying to imitate the human body as opposed to replace it with mechanics. So that's a whole nother way. Today, and I didn't get to sit in on it, but there's another company that's coming out to grow skin.
Wow.
I think we talked about it before, because you grow skin, you can grow muscle, tissue, tendons, bones.
That's the leap I don't want to see it take.
We'll be living forever.
It's not, I know that's spooky, but even that water robot or whatever, that's just an evolutionary step to what we just talked about. Because now, I read it this week, there's scientists that are manipulating things at the nano level, whatever. But the gentleman who was scientist says, we're manipulating molecules. All right.
Oh, the dire wolf.
That was DNA, but molecules, because everything's made up. Matter is matter. It doesn't matter. It's matter. But there's no difference between the tree and a set of dishes. There's no difference between the set of dishes and Earl Grey hot. This is what they're saying. Yeah. So once you can manipulate at the nano level, and the structure of tea out it comes. You know the structure of chicken, eggs, concrete, steel, boom, 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 boom. It's a replicator.
Hey, I like replicators.
See, that's what I said. Teeth.
Yeah.
All very hot. But you know, we're all talking sci-fi, but this guy's a scientist going. We just started manipulating at the nano level. We call it nano something, something, something.
Sci-fi comes true. So there's one other note here. I think I'm reading a bullet point. It said, Clone Robotics unveils muscle-bound android. 1,000 muscle fibers mimic the human body.
Is it? That's the one I think I'm talking about.
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
Is he
And
on
also-
a Mevo?
Nah, no pictures here. No, but it also, there's another bullet in this that says China is projected to produce over 50% of all humanoid robots globally this year.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Hey, those guys are nuts. They got it going when it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, so you see the one running, I think, is Boston. It's
Yeah, Boston Scientific. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's going to be what's that tale by John Henry? Folklore,
oh yeah.
where the steam engine, right?
Steam
Steam
engine versus-
engine and John Henry.
Driving
Put the spikes
John
in.
Henry driving the railroad spikes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not gonna beat those guys. The Chinese got the robots doing kung fu. And we got guys running. Those Boston Scientific, right? Is that
Yeah, Google bought them about 10 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Art, you're right to keep an eye on the androids.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, it's coming. And someone just linked their android with the chat with the OpenAI LLM, so it can talk to you.
Going to be interesting times. Oh, so we might as well break the news, right?
Sure.
So Greg and I had a chat on our last show off camera, and we're going to move one of our shows each month to just covering robots and humanoids.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Okay. All right.
So that's news for everybody. Just
It's gonna
released.
be great.
And it's going to be Ask Us Anything on humanoids and robots, and where they are to ask you questions, and we're going to ask questions, and I think we can have a lot of fun with it.
It'll be a lot of fun, but there is a serious undertone there. There's a use case here. There's
Yes, there is.
There's a channel that doesn't exist yet, kind of thing.
My wife watches a lot of stuff on YouTube, like cooking shows and technology shows, and actually, you know, the guy duplicates himself as a female avatar and a male avatar. So he narrates it, but it looks so real you can't believe it. And just people relate to the different look, even though he's saying the same exact thing. So he can duplicate himself 3 different ways, right? And it works. And he's like, and he gets a A/B study for the female persona and the male persona, right? So there is an active market for influencers are using it. Actually, they're creating an avatar for themselves. It's crazy.
Well, they're about 18 months behind the OnlyFans.
Really? I wouldn't know anything about that stuff, Greg.
I do research.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the one OnlyFan person that I read about, she created an avatar. This is months ago, so I'm sure it's gotten a lot better. So that it would run so she could take a break.
Okay. All right. Okay.
With that, we are at the witching hour, which is about 5 p.m. EST.
I can't wait to talk about that on our Android discussion.
Yeah, that's tune in for sure.
Yes, that'll probably be a topic of discussion on the humanoid and robotic event we're going to have.
Yeah,
when are we going to do that? We're going to do that next week, or
call it? I'll do it. We'll give us a week to do some research. Hell yeah!
Yeah, just got to get us a cute little banner made, and I'll get it up.
All right, no problem.
Awesome. So it's 5 o'clock here. We've had a great show. I want to thank Kevin Neal for being on, and Greg and I always enjoy these chats. I want to thank Harry for chiming in today.
Thank
and
you.
Harry, we appreciate your input. And will you be joining us with the Robots and Humanoid show?
Absolutely, I am a robot.
Oh, we didn't know that.
Excellent. Yeah.
So,
Next week.
everyone, we'll be back next Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Please like, follow, and share, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.